Good morning, students. This is my lecture number 1 for class 11th, subject English, for chapter number 4, Albert Einstein at School, written by Patrick Pringle. This chapter is taken from your supplementary book, Snapshots. Children, in this lecture of chapter number 4, I will take from page number 25 to 27, and we will cover introduction as well as explanation from line to line. I'll be reading the text for you, and then I'll be explaining with its difficult words with their meanings, and in my lecture number 2 I'll proceed further with the chapter. So let's begin the chapter with its introduction. Children, the lesson Albert Einstein at School is an extract from the biography of Albert Einstein named The Young Einstein, written by Patrick Pringle. In this lesson, Patrick familiarizes the readers with those years in Einstein's life where he was struggling each day in school, and as each day passed, the school diploma felt like a far-fetched dream for him. It throws light upon a few encounters with his teachers when he felt about the neighborhood he lived in and how he had only one good friend, Yuri. The way Albert strategizes to get out of the miserable place that was school for him, and how things turned around in the end, makes the story even more interesting. In this complete chapter, he will tell you how he disliked his new school and why did he want to leave his school and why he hated his teachers there, and why his teachers also had no good interactions with him ever. And in this complete story, he will be telling us about the miserable place that was school for him and how the things turned around in the end that will make this story even more interesting. So let's begin the story with the book reading of the text given on page number 25. Children, your chapter begins with the account of Albert with his history teacher. So let's read the text given in your book. In what year, Einstein asked the history teacher, did the Prussians defeat the French at Waterloo? I don't know, sir. Why don't you know? You have been told it often enough. I must have forgotten. Did you ever try to learn? Asked Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown was his history teacher. No, sir. Albert replied with his usual unthinking honesty. Why not? I can't see any point in learning dates. One can always look them up in a book. Mr. Brown was speechless for a few moments. You amaze me. Amaze means surprise. You amaze me, Einstein, he said at last. Don't you realize that one can always look most things up in books? That applies to all the facts you learn at school. Yes, sir. Then, I suppose you don't see any point in learning facts? Frankly, sir, I don't, said Albert. Children, in these lines, he has told about his account with his history teacher. The lesson begins with an account where the teacher asks him about the year in which the Prussians defeated the French at Waterloo. As usual, Einstein does not remember it, to which Mr. Brown points out that the reason for this is because Einstein never bothers to learn them. Albert justifies that he finds it pointless to digest dates because one can always look them up in books wherever needed. The answer left Mr. Brown dumbstruck for a while. Finally, he replies and tells him that similarly, most of the things being taught in school can be looked up in the books. There is no point in mugging up facts. Mugging up means learning, reciting, and remembering. So, There must be no point in mugging up facts. Einstein, without realizing that the statement was sarcastic, agrees with his teacher. That was actually a sarcastic comment passed by his history teacher, Mr. Braun, in order to make him realize that he was wrong when he said there was no point in learning dates. Because for dates, one can look in the book and there is no need to memorize them. Then let's continue with the text that begins with the conversation between Mr. Braun and Albert, in which the history teacher says, "Then you don't believe in education at all?" "Oh, yes, sir, I do. I don't think learning facts is education." "In that case," said the history teacher with heavy sarcasm, "perhaps you will be so kind as to tell the class the Einstein theory of education." Right? Here sarcasm means irony. The teacher passed a comment to make everyone laugh, right? So professor concludes in these lines that if Einstein does not see any point in grasping facts, then he should not also be a believer and follower of education. Albert very clearly replies that he is undoubtedly vested in the idea of education, but according to him, merely digesting facts is not education. The history teacher then, in an attempt to mock him in front of the whole class, asks about his elaborate version of the ideal education. History teacher asked him to explain what would be the meaning of education according to Albert. So children, see on page number 26. After listening that heavy sarcasm passed by his history teacher, Albert flushed. Flushed means he became red with shame. Then, "I think it's not fact that matter, but ideas," he said. "I don't see the point in learning the dates of battles or even which of the armies killed more men. I would be more interested in learning why those soldiers were trying to kill each other." That's enough. Mr. Braun's eyes were cold and cruel, means Mr. Braun got very angry and he said, "That's enough. We don't want a lecture from you. Einstein, you'll stay in for an extra period today. Although I don't imagine it will do any much good to you, it won't do the school any good either. You are a disgrace." Disgrace means insult. "I don't know why you continue to come." "It's not my wish, sir," Albert pointed out. "Then you are an ungrateful." Ungrateful means thankless. "Then you are an ungrateful boy and ought to be ashamed of yourself. I suggested you ask your father to take you away." So this was the complete conversation that took place between the history teacher and Albert Einstein in his history class. And in these lines, the writer has written, again being very clear about his idea of education, Albert explains that it is useless to acquire knowledge on dates of battles and numbers of men that were compromised. What is important to read and analyze the reason that were responsible for the battle between the two armies. Mr. Braun got extremely angry and interrupted Albert's speech and punished him to stay for extra classes there in the school, even if it were of no good to anyone, including Albert. The teacher then calls him a disgrace, expressing his displeasure of having him around. Albert mentions that he does not want to be there either. The teacher then remarkably calls him an ungrateful boy, a thankless boy, who should be ashamed, and suggests that his father to take him away from school. So this was a cold discussion or a conversation between the history teacher and Albert Einstein in his history class. As the boy used to learn the facts, not the dates. So he said that he was not interested in learning the dates of the battle battles. Rather, he was interested to know the reason why the people fought and what was the reason that people killed each other for the benefits, right? So there was a logic, but history teacher did not understand the logic behind his conversation and got angry, and he thought that this boy is a shameless boy and he is very thankless as well, and such children do not deserve school. After being insulted, Albert started hating the thought of going to school. It was a cold discussion between Albert and his history teacher, and his history teacher called him ungrateful and all. Therefore, let's read from the book. It's Albert felt miserable. Miserable means unhappy or pitiable. Albert felt miserable when he left school that afternoon. You can understand, children, why he felt miserable that afternoon when he left school. Because of his history teacher and history class. Then, not that it had been a bad day. Most days were bad now, anyway. But because he had to go back to the hateful place the next morning. So, why did he feel bad? He felt bad. He hated school the most, and the idea of going back to school the next morning was making his day miserable. Then he only wished his father would take him away, but there was no point in even asking. He knew what the answer would be. He would have to stay until he had taken his diploma. So that afternoon, Albert was unhappy because he felt insulting in his history class. And it was not that the day was bad, but in general, days were getting bad at school, and he hated the thought of going to school every morning. His only wish was that his father would take him to Italy along with him, but it was pointless to ask him because he would anyway make him stay there until he completed his diploma. Because his father had sent him to take diploma, and he knew until he gets diploma from the school, his father would not get his father would not get agree that he would take him back to Italy. So let's continue with the text. That is about Albert's house that was in a poverty stricken area. Now, Albert going back to his lodgings. Lodgings means temporary accommodation or a room rented out to someone, usually in the same residence as the owner. Right? I repeat, lodgings means temporary accommodation or a room rented out to someone, usually in the same residence as the owner. So, going back to his lodgings did not cheer him up. He did not feel happy while going back to his lodgings also. His father had so little money to spare that Albert had been found a room in one of the poorest quarters of Munich. He did not mind the bad food and lack of comfort there, or even the dirt and the squalor. Squalor means the state of being extremely dirty and unpleasant. I repeat, squalor means the state of being extremely dirty and unpleasant. So, he did not mind the bad food and lack of comfort, or even the dirt and squalor, but he hated the atmosphere of slum violence. His landlady beat her children regularly, and every Saturday her husband came drunk and beat her. So, Albert was neither happy at school nor at his lodgings or the accommodation. So, in these lines, the author explains school was surely an unpleasant place for Albert Einstein, but his place of stay in Munich was nothing better. Because of limited cash availability with his father, he had to stay within the poorest neighborhood in Munich. However, poverty, bad food, dirt, and lack of comfort hardly bothered him. It was the frequent fights at the place that he hated the most. Even the landlady's family was a violent one. where she used to hit her kids every now and then, while her husband beat her every Saturday after he came back home drunk. Now, children, in further text, Albert's discussion with Yuri is given. So, let's read the text from the book. It's page number 26, I repeat. Now, but at least you have a room of your own, which is more than I can say, said Yuri when he called round in the evening. Now, Yuri is Albert's only friend in Munich. At least you live among civilized human beings, even if they are all poor students, said Albert. Now there is a conversation that is taking place between Albert and Yuri, his friend. Then further he says, Yuri replies to his question that they are not all civilized. Yuri replied, did you not hear that one of them was killed last week in a duel? Duel means a contest with deadly weapons arranged between two people in order to settle a point of honor. I repeat, duel is a contest with deadly weapons arranged between two people in order to settle a point of honor. Then he says, and what happens to the one who killed him? Nothing, of course. He is even proud of it. His only worry is that the authorities have told not to fight any more duels. He is upset about his because he has not a single scar on his face to wear for the rest of his life as a badge of honor, means symbol of honor. Oof, exclaimed Albert. And these are the students. Well, you'll be a student one day, said Yuri. I doubt it, said Albert glumly. Glumly means unhappily, sadly. I don't think I'll ever pass the exams for the school diploma. This was the doubt of Albert. In these lines, now here we are introduced to his friend Yuri, who is also not very fortunate. He reminds Albert that he should be glad about the fact that he has a room of his own to live, even though the neighborhood is not something he likes. In return, Albert reminds Yuri that even though Yuri lives among poor students, they are all civilized and non-violent. Yuri interrupts to correct him that not all of them have manners and only last week one was killed in a fight. The only who killed him did not face any circumstances except never being allowed to play a duel again. The only regret that guy had was that he won't be able to show off a scar as a symbol of bravery. Albert signs at this state of students pursuing diplomas. Yuri then gives Albert some hope by saying that he'll be a student too, to which Albert expresses his doubtfulness. Children, now we are on page number 27, where we will discuss Albert's discussion with his own cousin Elsa. Now, he means Albert Einstein, told his cousin Elsa the same next time she came to Munich. Normally she lived in Berlin, where her father had a business. I'm sure you could learn enough to pass the exams, Albert, if you tried, she said. I know lots of boys who are much more stupid than you are, who get through. They say you don't have to know anything, you don't have to understand what you are taught, just be able to repeat it in the exams. That's the whole trouble, said Albert. I am no good at learning things by heart. This is the conversation between Albert and his cousin Elsa. Albert expresses in these lines his concern to his cousin Elsa, saying that it's not very likely for him to pass examinations. Elsa, who had come to visit Einstein in Munich, normally she lived in Berlin, where her father was running a family business. Elsa tried to convince Albert to learn just enough to pass the examination by learning and repeating facts and that. She had seen a lot of dull guys do it. Albert again exclaimed that learning things by heart is not his best suit. Means it was not Albert's cup of tea that he would be learning or he would be grasping, mocking up the things, and then he would be vomiting on the piece of paper just for the sake of passing the examination. Children, chapter continues with Albert's discussion with his cousin Elsa, and what he writes, let's read from the book. It is, you don't need to be good at learning, right? Anyone can learn like a parrot. You just don't try. And yet I always see you with a book under your arm, added Elsa. What is the one you are reading? He answers, a book on geology. Geology? Rocks and things? Do you learn that? No. We have hardly any science at school. Then why are you studying it? Because I like it. Isn't that a good enough reason? Elsa sighed. Sighed means she had a long sigh. You are right, of course, Albert, she said. But it won't help you with your diploma. Apart from books on science, his only comfort was music. And he played his violin regularly until his landlady asked him to stop. That wailing gets on my nerves. Wailing means crying with pain or anger. That is wailing. When somebody cries in pain, that is wailing. That wailing gets on my nerves, she said. There is enough noise in this house with all the kids howling. Howling means shouting, making a howling sound. Albert was tempted to point out that most of the time it was she who made them howl. But he decided it was better to say nothing to the landlady. In these lines, children, Elsa presented her counter agreement that anyone can learn like a parrot, but for that one needs to try, which Albert doesn't. She then expresses irony by mentioning that he always has a book under his arm. Albert tells her that it is a book on geology which is not taught in the school. He adds that they are hardly taught any science in school. Elsa does not understand why he is reading the book if it is not a part of his curriculum. Albert clarifies her doubt and he says he likes studying science and considers it a reason good enough to read it. Elsa understands this but also warns him that it is not going to help him in passing his diploma. Albert was very fond of reading science books, and the only other thing that brought him joy and peace was music. He loved to play music. He played the violin a lot, but only until his landlady told him to stop. The sound supposedly irritated her, and she justified by saying that kids already make a lot of noise in the house. Albert wanted to say that she is the one who made her kids cry all the time, but somehow he resisted the urge to say it, probably for the better. He did not want to be argumentative with the landlady, therefore, he did not keep his point that was really genuine, but he thought it is better to be quiet because silence is better than conversing with such a lady who makes her own children howl or shout most of the time of the day. Therefore, he kept quiet. So, children, this was the explanation of the chapter from page number 25 to 27. and will continue further in my lecture number 2 of the same chapter. Let me conclude what I taught you in this chapter number 4 from page 25 to 27, Albert Einstein at school. Albert Einstein finds the school a miserable place, and the thought of going to school really haunts him every day because he does not like anything good in learning the dates in his history class asked by his history teacher, Mr. Brown. And therefore he became argumentative with his teacher, though his arguments were logical, but the teacher did not try to understand the logics behind the arguments and made fun of him, and in fact punished him to stay there and told him that he was a shameful boy and he was really thankless, and children like Albert did not deserve coming to school. Then he felt very miserable when he left the school that day, and then he expressed his miserable condition to his only friend in Munich, that was Yuri. Then he tells about the conversation took place between him and his friend Yuri. Yuri made him realize that at least he had a room to live in. That was corrected by Albert, that the room was there, but as his father was not very economically wealthy, therefore he could not afford a very good room for him, and he had been living in a dirty place. And he did not like that place because the landlady was a very voluble lady who used to fight and shout at her children every day, and her husband used to beat her every Saturday evening when he came back drunk. So all such things he described to Yuri, and Yuri corrected him, tried to soothe him by saying that the place where Yuri had been living was more violent than of his own. Therefore, Yuri told that their people are involved in duels and they are feeling proud of getting involved in different duels, and they are not even being corrected for their mistakes. Then he talks about the conversation between him and his cousin Elsa, whose father was running a business, family business in Berlin, and she used to visit Munich to meet Albert. And Elsa also tried to convince Albert that it would be better for him to study because his father's dream was to go back with a diploma. So she said, it is better to learn like a parrot and learn for the sake of passing the examination. You need not to study anymore. Then Albert corrected her. He said when he had no interest in learning the dates and all that curriculum which had been designed and being followed by the children, then how could he pass the examination? Elsa tried to convince her that it was far more important to learn rather than becoming argumentative in the class with the teachers. It would be good if he studies. Then she asks about the book he was carrying in his arm. Then he told that was zoology, and he expressed his interest in reading science books, though science was not a part of his curriculum that he had been taught in the school, but he loved reading science books. Therefore, he carried that zoology book always in his arm. So this surprised Elsa, and this was the complete explanation that I gave you from page number 25 to 27. And children, in my next lecture, I'll proceed further. And now we will proceed towards homework. Children, for better understanding of the chapter, you are supposed to read it from page number 25 to 27 from your supplementary book, Snapshots, and underline all the difficult words and write their meanings in the book only. So, in my next lecture, we will proceed further. Thank you. Have a nice day.